Hello there. It's been a while since my last video. I've actually been very busy in real life, but today I was hoping to sit down and chat again about some topics I find relevant as I pursue my creative journey. And today in particular, I want to talk about why I finally let my iPad go as an artistic tool and how that's actually made life better for me as a creative. So to frame this properly, I want to take you back to 2019 when I had first bought the third generation iPad Pro. This was a new design without any face button, and it was all screen. So clearly the iPad was super awesome. It got me into a drawing habit that eventually became a daily habit, which was something that was so difficult for me to actually achieve. And I kept my iPad from 2019 to 2021. In 2021, the M1 version of the iPad, which was the fifth generation iPad, I believe, released. And this iPad was super special because it allowed a lot of multitasking features and productivity features, or it promised that, and it made me really want to upgrade into an iPad and make that my sole device for everything. And I went to town. As a matter of fact, I did most of my comic, Trailblazers Man's Mission, on the iPad. But once I completed Trailblazers Man's Mission, I started using my Cintiq more. My Cintiq I also bought actually in the same year, in January of 2021. This is actually about 4 or 5 months before the iPad would release. My initial idea was that I would use my original 2019 iPad as an on-the-go drawing device, and then I would use this as my main drawing device at home. Unfortunately, due to the size, as you can see, it takes up a great chunk of my desk. I wasn't able to fit it into a setup that allowed me to work from home for my day job and also utilize this as my main screen. But as you can see, it is back on my desk, and actually I've been using this as my primary drawing tool for almost the entire year. And it reached a point where I finally made the decision to part ways with my iPad. So the reason why I got rid of the iPad, why I felt it no longer fit my flow, it comes down to minimalism and the impact minimalism has had on my life. Despite really liking everything that minimalism encompassed, I just couldn't find it in me to actually get rid of things and let go of things that I wasn't using. I thought, oh, there might be a use case for this at some point, and I would hoard and hoard and hoard stuff. But the moment I took minimalism seriously and I actually started implementing it, I realized that my life got better. And the reason for this is because I have less decisions to make every single day, and I feel like every decision matters more when I make a decision. And I notice as I've subtracted things from my life, I've actually eliminated barriers to doing the things that I actually like. So let's give a couple examples. I made a video earlier this year talking about how I had donated a large percentage of my library. The stuff I chose to keep, I'm actually engaging with it in a more frequent basis. It's not like, oh, I've read it before, I don't want to read it again, as it was before when I had a huge collection. Now it's, oh, I want to jump back into this world. I want to experience it again because I really enjoy it. Similarly, the iPad is a phenomenal device, but for me, the problem was everything else that came with the iPad. The iPad was a way for me to binge YouTube, and I found myself distracted from the thing I really wanted to do, which was art. And over time, what I've realized is this is what slowed me down. Because I had so many different things to distract me available on one device, it was very difficult for me to focus on the one thing I wanted to use the device for. The current environment I have to create is very, very strict. This Wacom Cintiq you only use for drawing and for mirroring a screen or extending out a screen from a computer. The MacBook, I can't draw on that directly, but when I connect to the Wacom Cintiq, I have a drawing device. And I'm built that mentality that whenever I've connected my MacBook to the Cintiq, then I'm going to be in an art making mood. And that has worked every single time without fail. Similarly, if I want to write something, I have Apple Notes on my MacBook and I write there, and I'm exclusively focused on the task of writing and nothing else. The MacBook is the greatest experience for focus that I have ever really encountered or experienced. And this is having used Windows machines as well. But I've assigned each piece of technology that I have in my life to specific things. Now, the other thing that I want to mention is they are multi-use things, but it's multi-use with purpose. I've intentionally created a system, an ecosystem for myself that allows me to attack each task I want to do or each activity I want to do in a way where I give it full focus and full commitment. And that's really important to me because I don't have a lot of time to actually commit to the things I want to do in life. And unfortunately, if you let time slip away, even the small pockets, you're going to find yourself 20 years into the future not having done anything that you wanted to do in life. Now, there are some people that can function with all of the distraction and create a lot of things. Unfortunately, that's not me. I've just learned over time that that is not something I'm good at. I'm very good at singularly focusing on tasks. I am not so good at multitasking. And what makes it even more apparent is every time, again, I get rid of something that I'm not using and there's one less thing to worry about in my life, I just feel so much freer and so much more capable of tackling the tasks head on. As for what I'm actually doing now when I'm on the go, I'm drawing in a sketchbook. So I don't know if you can see it, but up here there's a bunch of sketchbooks. All these sketchbooks were started and never completed. And the thing about sketchbooks is I usually have one tool, which is a pencil, and maybe an eraser, and I go into the sketchbook and I draw. And while I'm drawing and learning to draw, I also, in my MacBook, am accomplishing a task that I put off for a very long time. That task is actually writing the story I consider to be my magnum opus. I'm going to write it in full. That's my goal for this year. And while I'm writing it in full, the whole art aspect is going to take a back seat. I will use the Cintiq to draw, of course, but I will mostly be using sketchbooks to draw and keep my drawing habit alive. And I've found that there's been almost no difficulty doing that. I've drawn almost every single day. Another point I want to make about the iPad that I think is important to me. Even though I could draw anywhere in the iPad, I got very little done. I started a lot of drawings on the iPad, but completing images is not something that I have a track record of doing. So one thing I was wondering is, if I have this device that I'm allowed to basically draw wherever, whenever I am, why is it that I'm not getting more done? And it comes back to the idea of distraction. Unfortunately, I am susceptible to distractions. I need to put myself in a focused space, in a space that I only associate with specific things. I have to be focused in a way where outside distractions cannot bother me. That means notifications turned off, noise canceling headphones on, and just really being with my thoughts only. Not really getting stimulated by other things. So knowing this about myself, understanding how my iPad usage has helped me into developing a good habit, but ultimately deciding that it's time to part ways with the iPad, has given me, for this season of my life, the freedom to be able to focus more thoroughly on things that I probably should have done years ago. I feel like I have been daydreaming and dreaming about this magnum opus project of mine for over 15 years, and I have not much to show for it. And I want to make a change to that this year. I want to really put the pedal to the metal and just gun for creating a finished product. If Trailblazers Man's Mission taught me anything, it's that 4 years is not the way to go. Let's set parameters, let's set goals, and let's achieve them instead of getting distracted by other things. And that's all I got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been very busy in this season of my life as well with my regular job, so unfortunately I haven't had time to really sit down and do another video, but it's good to be back and recording again. A question I have for you is, if you do use an iPad, how often do you finish work on it? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And also, if there's other methods that you find to keep yourself focused besides getting rid of stuff, I'd also like to hear that too. Subscribe if you'd like to see where this journey takes me, both on minimalism and creativity. And if you liked the video, I'd appreciate a like. Stay safe, stay happy, stay creative, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.